And your science here, your science is displayed perfectly in this picture where children in school were put in plastic bubbles because of your science.
She plunges the sword of truth right into Fauci's filthy freaking intestines. He squirms. It feels good for freedom lovers everywhere. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. And honestly, with that mission statement of this channel, we have to credit Fauci for motivating us to create the channel a couple years ago. Now, Fauci, you're tired of hearing about him. Me too. I'm tired of him just continuing to frolic the earth like a cockroach living under a refrigerator. But recently, there's Fauci news, and it's kind of good news at this point. He's facing congressional testimonies for, they're putting it differently, but you and I might say, his crimes against humanity. Marjorie Taylor Greene, obviously a Republican, she recently grilled the living crap out of him, and it is beautiful to watch. You get to watch him squirm. She has the mic. She is in control. He can't answer any question honestly. He's just a lying little sack of filthy crap, and I'm putting it politely. So a little context before we get to the full clip of Fauci squirming under congressional testimony. You probably have seen this. Fauci admits there was no evidence for pandemic guidance on masking or social distancing. Right? You know, man of science, so we just kind of make things up and call it science because doing actual science is hard and inconvenient for what we're trying to do here. And of course, here's this quick clip just for a little context.
Dr. Anthony Fauci now admitting social distancing wasn't based on science. Fauci telling a House committee this week the idea standing 6 feet apart, quote, just sort of appeared.
We pretend like this is news, that social distancing, masking kids. It wasn't based on science. Yeah, by the way, this might be news to some people. If so, they were an idiot. Hopefully they're waking up out of that idiot hypnotic trance called mass formation psychosis. But for you and I, the only thing newsworthy is that Fauci is admitting a little bit of the reality of the situation. And lastly, before we get to the fire clip, we have to watch this man of science telling you like it is.
But they're really criticizing science because I represent science.
We know that. He represents science, doesn't he? Now, this absolute fire clip is one of the best things I've ever seen. And shout out to Ultra Mega Party on Twitter for putting this together. Let's take a look.
Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
I am a scientist who uses the scientific method to gain information.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no answer.
He just said he represents science with his own words in the previous clip.
It's a yes or no.
I don't think it is.
Okay, well, we'll take that as a you don't know what you represent.
But
this, as director of the NIH, you did sign off on these so-called scientific experiments. And as a dog lover, I want to tell you this is disgusting and evil, what you signed off on, and these experiments that happened to beagles paid for by the American taxpayer. And I want you to know Americans don't pay their taxes for animals to be tortured like this. So the type of science that you are representing, Mr. Fauci, is abhorrent. You confess that you made up the COVID rules, including
I didn't hear what you
6
said.
feet social distancing and masking of children.
I never said I made anything up.
You admitted that you made it up. You made it up.
I didn't say I made it up.
So are you saying this is fake news, Mr. Fauci?
I didn't say I made anything up.
What did you say?
I said that it is not based in science and it just appeared.
That's almost worse than just making it up because it's the same thing, but it just appeared. Now you're in imagination land, buddy.
But this is science. And making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children. Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor. You're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
Yes, I love that. She is disrespecting him by refusing to call him Dr. Fauci, calling him Mr. And I would endorse that. I think he has earned every drop of disrespect that comes his way.
No, I don't need your answer. That man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked and he belongs in prison.
Don't suspend.
Here you are without your mask, where you got to go and enjoy the game and sit right next to people not following the 6 feet of distancing,
breaking the rules of science that just appeared,
not wearing your mask, and everyone else was forced to stay home and stop enjoying life.
By the way, his first pitch at that baseball game was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen a human do to themselves. We'll get back to the most fire video I've ever seen in just a second, but first I want to thank Dr. Fauci because he inspired me to know it's more important than ever to say what I think out loud. Everybody needs to say what they think out loud, and that's exactly why I designed my Freedom apparel the way I did. Every message on it is what I think out loud, and if you think similar to me and you know it's important to say you're thinking out loud and where you're thinking out loud, you can check out all the Freedom apparel at awakenwithjp.com. Got the newest design available right now, the Freedom Isn't Free hat, and tribute to Fauci, make 1984 fiction again. This design came from my observations of him, so thank you, Dr. Fauci, Mr. Fauci, for inspiring us to wear our thinking out loud. Get it all at awakenwithjp.com. Now, back to the fire video.
And stop enjoying life. And your science here, your science is displayed perfectly in this picture where children in school were put in plastic bubbles because of your science, your repulsive, evil science. And let's go back to your very own email. You said earlier you don't use email. Oh, you do. Right here. This is your own email where you said the typical mask you buy in the drugstore is not really effective in keeping out virus. I do not recommend that you wear a mask. This is your email. This is your own words. But yet children all over America were forced to wear masks. Healthy children forced to wear masks, muzzled in their schools. And then they were forced to learn from home because of your so-called science and your medical suggestions, while you and all your cronies get paid from Big Pharma. You know that what this committee should be doing? We should be recommending you to be prosecuted. We should be writing a criminal referral because you should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. You belong in prison, Dr. Fauci.
Woo! JP Sears endorses that message. Will he ever go to prison? Will he ever actually be prosecuted? I highly suspect not. I think justice for the elites, even though there's nothing elite about this guy, it seems like it's a little bit too politicized and not enough justicized, if I can use made up words. That word just appeared. I'm doing science here, ladies and gentlemen. But the court that matters probably more so than any other court is the court of public opinion. So he's being exposed. I mean, the guy's been obvious for so long, but he's being exposed even more for the court of public opinion to draw their own conclusions. That's what counts the most because we, the people, have the power. With that said, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, let me know what you think of Fauci's recent congressional appearances and what you actually think about the guy. Look forward to seeing your comments below. I'll see you on our next video, but until then, stay free.